Ow! Oh. Huh. Hey folks, I'm Jackal. I did the recap for Roll Charisma, and it's been a bit. So let's waste no time, let's jump into it. Starting with Dreams of Silver and Stone. The party, having survived an assault from the tavern, having chased off the Vincier from the town, have collapsed the tunnel in the process. Kiara, having left the battle on her way to figure out what the vision was that she had earlier, runs into Six Toes, turning themselves into an Empire convoy. They attempt to liberate them, but they have to flee back to the town due to injury. As she's doing that, the party's working on the wounded and sorting out the prisoners back at the town. It's a pretty messy sight. Barely alive, Kiara returns, with Patchy attempting first aid on her in the process. Patchy's a little rattled by all this carnage, so they face the problem head-on with a bomb strapped to their chest, heading out front to confront Crimson Mane. Unfortunately, there's a sniper there, and long-winded conversation short, they retreat back to town. No sooner do they regroup, they actually manage to get something out of one of the prisoners, but not before, in comedic style, a battlement falls, crushing the prisoner, and their only lead as to what's going on with Six Toes. Add to the fun, apparently there's a couple of large mutated frogs heading towards town. Know who finds something similar to this, but that's for later. It's intensive fighting as the party attempts to push back the frogs, or at the very least dispatch them. Who knows, folks? My money's on that they'll win. That was Dreams of Silver and Stone, now into Sparrows. In a similar vein, freshly wounded from a battle recently, the Sparrows crew intercept a signal from a derelict along their way back to port to resupply. It's been a bit, and a lot's happened. True to form, though, adventure is always around them, as B swings wide on their path in order to stop by the facility and collect the power source for Patron Zep. The party enters rather haphazardly and find the facility is abandoned. Splitting off, they find something similar to a thallium, as well as research notes relating to some sort of sleep study of some kind. Threats dispatched, Red Iron sets to work on taking control of the facility and negotiating with it as the party goes to loot everything. And they find a plethora of everything, including our old friend Carver. Well, records of Carver, at least. Back with B and Collins, they managed to find the power source in the form of a monster. Attempting to approach it and befriend it, the monster unfortunately shoots Colin in the gut, and Amos, being party dad, springs into action with everyone in tow. It's brutal close quarters fighting, Amos losing an arm, and everyone else taking serious damage as they manage to dispatch the monster, collect the power source, and proceed back to the ship, not before collecting a sword with some strange inscription. Reviving a king, perhaps? But that's gotta wait. There's a stowaway on board. No, not a stowaway. Sylvia has been trying to study the party a little bit better and has a doppelganger amongst the group. Fresh from promotion, Captain Red Iron sits down with Amos, sets up a plan to ferret out the doppelganger. As with most Amos plans, the brute force approach ends with Amos being Amos, and Amos versus Amos equals, well, let me check my notes. Yep. Goes about as well as you expect. Having had enough of this, Red Iron puts their mechanical foot down and merges with Sylvia, showing them exactly what it's like for them to be human, to deal with hormones, to deal with suffering and pain. Ending with the doppelganger dissolving to nothing more than polished ball bearings. All right, folks, diced out. On to roll charisma.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Roll Charisma. This week, we will be having Ty joining us in lieu of Steven, who has disappeared off the face of the planet. Possibly wherever it is that Jackal goes. We don't know. Speaking of which, thank you for dropping in. Everybody, welcome to the show. MacJackalRanger, our very own amazing recap artist. Yay!
Hey, folks. Sorry about the ceiling again.
It's okay. We'll put a tarp over it. It'll be fine.
Tarp. I think I'll just get up there and nail it on, and catch the water. We'll save the water for later, like a.
Although you shouldn't nail a tarp because then it kind of then has holes in it, and then it's fine. Anyways, I know, right? There you go. So yeah. It's a little bit off today. We've had just a little few complications in starting, but thank you everybody for joining us. I'm going to just take a wild shot in the dark, Jackal, that you know how this show works. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, affirmative. So for those of you in the audience who are not aware, what we will be doing is asking a series of icebreaker questions determined by a roll of a D20 die. Speaking of which, Jackal, would you like to roll your own die, or would you like us to do so for you?
I'd be happy to roll my own die out of respect to the wonderful host this evening.
Well, and it's just super fun to roll dice. So we will have you do that here in just a second, and then we'll go probably. Look
at that! I like that little design on the front of that. The front of that, the design that's on it is very cool.
Yeah. And then we will ask probably 3 or 4 icebreaker questions. Again, you keep making me lose track of what I'm saying because they're so shiny and beautiful. But yeah, we'll ask a few questions and then we'll go on to do our lightning round and ask you a series of other questions that are sort of related and sort of not. So yeah, let's get going. Jackal, roll that die and let's see what we're going to ask you.
Are you first or me?
You can go first, honey.
17.
17. If you could have any real-life animal for a pet, what would it be?
Probably an oversized orchid mantis, just to mess with my neighbors.
Oversized orchid mantis?
I mean, that's like the really pretty ones, right? Like the pink and white mantises that, yeah.
Those are really cool.
And wait, so in what way would you utilize said orchid mantis to terrify the neighbors?
I'd keep a bunch of green fern-like plants around the house, and I just let the mantis mull about. Just go about the living room, chilling, relaxing, Occasionally, the neighbor looks in and sees the 5-foot orchid plant has moved for the 3rd time, and it's staring back.
Right.
That would
I
be
like it.
terrifying. I love that.
I mean, also, orchid mantises are beautiful. Like, I think praying mantises in general are pretty, but an orchid mantis is like, so it's disturbing on so many levels. Like, oh, it's just a giant bug, but it's pretty, but it's disturbing. But is it a plant? I don't know. I like how your mind works. All right, go ahead and roll the next die. Or the other same die. Yeah.
Roll the d20 and let's see what your fate be.
Sound like one of those like little machines that give like the treasure at the arcade.
Like, yeah, the fortune telling machine spits out your fortune is you're going to grow to be Tom Hanks.
3.
If aliens landed on Earth tomorrow and offered to take you home with them, would you go, and why?
Just right after that, no context, no explanation, no nothing.
Nope, just like, hey man, let's go. And maybe they didn't seem aggressive. Let's assume a non-aggressive.
If everything checks out, yeah, I'd probably send the 2 of you a text message. Just say, hey, my position's open. Aliens have dropped down in the sky. Oh, by the way, I need you to feed the pet velociraptors.
Fair. We appreciate the heads up. That's very considerate.
It's nice to see that you have taken more of a, pet angle with the velociraptors since last time we knew you were eating them. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, you can eat pets. That's how humans roll in general.
I don't eat my pets.
Well, a farmer, cow or chicken.
You call livestock pets? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I think that it's nice. If you ever need a employer reference, Jackal, I'm going to tell you that. I mean, this guy, he is so communicative about what it is that he is doing. He would message right away that he's been abducted by aliens. Not many people would be that kind of considerate, and it is appreciated.
I know you've got me by the leg, but can you hold on just a second? I have a phone call I need to make.
By the leg?
I don't know, wherever aliens grab you from.
I would hopefully by the hand. That would be the nicest way. Except for it's pandemic, so maybe not. I don't know.
Aliens, pandemic, who knows? All right, Jackal, what's the next roll?
Anticipation.
9.
9.
Who is your favorite all-time character you played in a TTRPG? And tell us about them and why they're your favorite.
It's the hard-hitting questions.
That's a rough one.
Toughies.
This wasn't a character that I played here. This wasn't a character I played prior to this. The character I played was Boris von Strelek. Within the context of the world, death meant that you would turn into a ghost that would rip and rend and tear and literally just... You know that one scene from Cabin in the Woods where there's a bunch of guys with guns and someone pushes a button, and I'm not going to spoil it for anyone?
Yes.
Yeah, that's basically what it's like in a moratorium.
Oh, boy.
So, Boris occupied the role of a scavenger, someone who would go outside the walls and collect old artifacts. They would camouflage themselves in old animal bones. Everything from ibex to even something as simple as let's go with the giant spider. Boris was 6 foot, bigger, meaner than Franco, but he had an adopted niece who he raised out of a house that illegally sold firearms to local gangs, and it was just always a trip playing Boris.
It sounds like
Sounds like a seat of your pants, explosive, crazy thing to be taking part in.
I always also enjoy your Russian accent.
Strangely enough, I'm actually German-Polish.
Well, accents, yeah.
I actually thought when we first met you that you were Russian. So
You did?
I did for a little while. I did. I thought that was actually like you were somewhere out in the Siberian tundra using your internet with all of us, and that kind of thing.
Wait, you're not?
I remember that day. I remember the events leading up to that day. I was working a midnight shift at a warehouse, and I got a message from your friend Sinan asking if I wanted to be a part of something. So, in between scurrying down the line, grabbing packages, I would message back. And the day I showed up, it was just like, oh God, they're going to throw me out for what I'm doing. Because at that time, I was playing the traitor role. I was the new guy. I was unexpected and tied to his, him?
Yes.
Tied to his credit. And Shannon, even to her credit, picked me out, and I'm like, oh, this is challenging.
Yeah.
That was fun. I miss playing that game.
Vampire was a lot of fun. It was crazy, and there were some really intense moments that happened between all the crew and stuff too. Good times. So what's our next roll, Jack?
Let's do one more roll, and then we'll go on to the lightning round.
Eight.
What fictional world or place would you like to visit the most, and why?
I forget what it is, but it's the main planet you start off in Titanfall. If not for the fact that 1, there's nanomachines, 2, there's giant robots, and 3, there is just enough high tech to where it's not mind-boggling, but the world is just lush and green, and it just
perfect Jackal planet.
I mean, Jackal, I'm sure you'd love to be a pilot and get out there in in the Titanfall universe.
I was half expecting to pulls back his green screen, and you just see like the Titan back there. He's
giant
like,
mech right behind him. That's what he's looking at. That's what he was looking at when he looked off to the side. It's the Titan he's building in his special underground bunker. Yeah, yep. Right there. See, he's admiring his Titan.
Don't give out.
I have to show him then. I'm gonna show him.
Oh no, he actually does have something.
Jackal always has great, amazing things that he makes and builds. So I'm very excited to see what it is.
He does do a lot of nerf recreations and armor. Oh, nice.
Or like hands, Titan hand. Oh my god.
He got like pieces of it. It looks like he's gonna be compiling and creating his own exosuit with those things. There you go. Look at that, and it works too. It even comes on the hand. That's amazing, dude. That's cool.
That's amazing. Yeah. How long have you been doing that piece?
Well, the hand, that was about 5 or 6 months. The arm was about 2 weeks. I'm currently working on the other one. I've hit a standstill. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do the legs and how I'm going to do the torso.
Yeah.
That's right. That seems complicated.
I mean, the whole thing seems complicated. That arm right there, man, kudos to you. That's very cool.
That's just rad. I'm so glad that came up in conversation. We had to see that. Also, would be very tempting to just flip someone the bird with that because I'm like 12 and immature.
Just the one finger up.
Boop. Next
time. When things get a bit more rowdy. Next time.
Fair. Yeah. Just all right. You know what? I'm busting out the glove.
So we're moving on to the lightning round. And lightning round, I think I get to go first because you did the last question, is we're going to give you a whole bunch of questions, very rapid fire, but of course we can go on tangents anytime you want. I'm sure you already have heard that spiel. I'm trying to practice it just in case I have to be in this chair again in the future. So, yeah. So just say what comes naturally.
Usually I do it anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's cool.
I just produce. I don't actually make the shows happen appropriately. So yeah, why don't you just save me from all really of this fumbling that I'm doing, Shannon? You just
You're
take.
Not fumbling.
No,
You're
just
doing
go
fantastic.
right. Where are we gonna start from? High or low, Jackal?
Jackal's ready.
High.
Starting from high. So,
high.
Name one of the 7 dwarves.
Sleepy, Grumpy, Doc, and Dopey.
That isn't one, but that's awesome.
Okay, so you started at question
20,
okay,
22.
so you started low because you said high?
You said high, so I started high. And
Okay.
high in numbers. That's what I was assuming.
Oh, we do it opposite. Okay, I gotcha. Would you want to live forever?
Yes.
What is your favorite beverage?
Favorite beverage? Coffee.
Coffee is your
Nice.
favorite beverage.
How do you take your coffee?
Black, occasionally 1 cream. Occasionally.
You and I could have coffee together.
She drinks coffee about the same way, so.
That's right. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Untimeliness.
So just when someone doesn't show up on time, or is it more than that?
Partially that, partially if I have a timetable I need to keep as part of an occupation, I'd much rather prefer people show up on time or show up early so that we can meet our timetable.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It's about respecting people's time.
I normally dial it back when I'm lower on the rung on a production, so there's that.
So speaking of coffee, how many cups of coffee do you drink a day?
Used to drink as many as 16 per powder ounce, dialed it back to 1.
Wow, that's a lot of coffee. Did you experience like a lot of shakes or jitters or anything like that? What type of energy?
I could see sound, and there was some concern that I had psychosis.
Oh, so
Fair enough.
that version of Jackal is the one we don't currently have. So that would have been interesting to see. But yeah,
Get them all
definitely-
hopped up on coffee.
it's
sometime.
definitely
We'll see
far far more healthy not to.
that. If you had a band, do you know what the name of the band would be?
Functionally dysfunctional. We'd be a punk rock band. A little bit of metal, a little bit of folk.
Hey,
Kind of neo-Viking.
I dig it.
Neo Viking.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
That's kind of Tyson listens to sort of neo-Viking music. What's that band, Ty?
There's a
The-
few of them that are out there, but
No, the one that the ones you've been listening to the most. The guys, the the blonde guys. That
those
really narrows
blonde
it down.
guys that do the Viking
From the-
rock music.
Yeah, the Viking blonde people. It's weird. Never mind.
Ask me
It's your
to
turn.
remember names. I don't remember names. What is your favorite carnival food?
Corn dogs. Easy.
Corn dogs.
How do you take your corn dogs? Like just what's
Just a
on
corn
'em?
dog. I don't bother with the mustard. I may bother with a little bit of mustard if I can get one bite in. No ketchup, no relish. Just simple, fast, yummy.
Do you
Nice.
like machined corn dogs or like those all natural, all cornbread corn dogs, the ones that are hand dipped, that kind of thing?
I haven't had all natural yet, but I'm willing to try it. So the jury's out.
That's fair. I don't think I've ever had an all-natural corn dog because I think by the very definition of a hot dog, it's not exactly natural.
I mean, just adding sodium to
hand-dipped
something doesn't
ones?
mean it's unnatural. If it's like custom crafted or whatever you want to call that, it's like micro brew of hot dogs, whatever that is.
Getting bougie.
I mean,
Just
just
like-
just throw in a little Gatorade. You'll run all night on the sodium potassium.
There you go.
Plenty of salt. Would you eat a day-old taquito from 7-Eleven?
I've done that before. Yes.
Me too.
Do you prefer dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
A little of both, but I'll go dark chocolate.
Well, that makes sense since you also like dark coffee. Dark coffee, dark chocolate share some of the same
He
kind
has
of
good
notes.
tastes. That's what you're saying. He
That's-
has impeccable, flawless.
Are you calling me
Beautiful
out
taste.
in a way that is just kind of
No.
underhanded and
I'm
subtle? 'Cause
complimenting
I don't think-
someone.
I prefer bitter because it's the only thing I can taste. I've got a really muted sense of taste and smell, which hasn't helped in the past year.
That's really unfortunate.
That's because you're like, wait, am I not smelling because COVID or not smelling because of my normal not smelling thing? I could see how that would raise some paranoia.
Have you had that for a long time, or is that kind of a newer thing?
It's been a thing since I was about 8, when originally I was on nasal spray for allergies. It helped somewhat, but I think it kind of messed up with the palate or something.
Oh
Oh.
boy.
Well,
Yeah.
that's fine. I mean, as long as you can still enjoy dark chocolate and black coffee, you're doing okay. You know.
Still got this.
Quick, say something cool.
All right then.
Cool.
Cool. You just got that was the Amos voice right there. I think that was a good cool.
I defaulted to Amos. Yes.
I mean, he's pretty cool.
When you think cool, you think Amos. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The irony of Amos is, and I think we have one or two lawyers in the audience. The name was derived from a legal term, animus nocendi, which means intent to harm, despite the fact that Amos is literally dad of the group. I threw that in there as a misnomer, inspired by Ty.
Beautiful.
I mean, it's brilliant, and it tells a lot for the story of the character, which I absolutely love. There's this like dark past thing, and this struggle, and this intention to be the dad of the group and to protect everybody at all times. It's brilliant and it's beautiful.
It is. It's good.
How would you rate your Is my turn, right? Yeah. How would you rate your karaoke skills on a scale of 1 to Mariah Carey or some other individual who sings well, in your opinion?
I mean, somewhere between Bruce Springsteen and Ivan Moody, but sometimes I can occasionally push into Chester Bennington if it's been one of those days.
Ooh,
wow.
My boy, I love that.
Very rarely. Don't quote me on it, and it takes a lot of setup.
It's fair.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
But I'm not surprised. You do have like a very nice speaking voice, so I can see how that could carry you over into singing.
Absolutely.
You can skip this one if it's too much because a lot of people get a little nervous. In your best Elmo voice, can you tell me how you take your coffee?
Elmo takes his coffee black, occasionally white sugar. No, creamer. Darn it. Elmo's a little messed up today.
I love it. That was a perfect Elmo voice. Look at that. That was very good.
Oh, and not even skip a beat. Some folks are like, okay, it's a little hard to like keep up with the voice. Beautiful, well done,
hey,
masterful
this man
work,
rolls
my friend.
with the punches. He is ready to go at a moment's notice. All you had to do was take that one test run and boom, right out the gate. That was perfect.
Yes.
Who's your favorite Harry Potter character, if you read that?
Well, from what little I understand, Harry Potter, I've only made it up to book 4, and it's been a few years. We used to have them read to us as children back in the old homestead. We made it only as far as the Quidditch tournament in the 4th, where one of them was declared the loser, but not in the sense that it loses because, well, it's not the quaffle, but the snitch. They caught the snitch. Yes.
The snitch, yeah.
Anywho,
most of the primary characters are introduced, at most of them.
For some weird reason, I always liked Sirius Black, especially as a character occupying a morally gray area. It was positive, but not in the sense that he was actually evil, but more of a character that was inside of a circumstance making the best of him, which is something I looked into later on in my life. So I'd say Sirius Black is answer.
That makes
I could see that.
And
I could see you some identifying with Sirius Black. It's very interesting.
All right.
Sorry, my mother just came by, but I told her we will be just a moment. So that was the pause. I apologize, everybody. So Super Mario Brothers or Legend of Zelda?
I'm going to go with Zelda out of the third-hand experience. I have not played Super Mario Brothers. I have not played Legend of Zelda. And I'm trying to change that because I'm pretty sure there's someone behind me with torches and pitchforks trying to make me pick a side, but that's okay because I'll give everything a try.
Truly,
that would be really cool. Too bad Nintendo is so close-fisted about their IP because it would be really fun to watch you play one of those or both of those games for the first time.
It would be. I would absolutely think it would be brilliant to go play Breath of the Wild for the first time because it gives you an idea of what Zelda is and what it can be versus where it came from, which is harder to get into for some people. Well, the original, I mean, okay. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but personally, I don't think it's very good anymore. Not with what we actually expect out of games nowadays.
Just
kidding. I'm sorry, I'm the producer. I have the button here. I get to turn it on or off. I still love it. Don't get me wrong. There's a nostalgic place for me when it comes to old games that were very neat, but you know, I'm just gonna move on.
That's fair. No, yeah. Go ahead.
Would you trade in a pet of yours for $1 million?
If they had a better life, better quality of life, better living situation, yes. If not, the door's over there.
Yeah.
Right.
GTFO.
Look at this man protecting his animals, making sure they're well taken care of.
Yeah, so yeah, you wouldn't like sell your beloved pet to a sausage factory for $1 million.
In very niche circumstances, yes.
You're
Very niche.
You're always able to see that little patch of gray somewhere where it would make sense for the situation that yes, you would. I appreciate that about you. Like that, there's always, you think of all of the angles, extrapolate. You can almost see your eyes doing like the Matrix thing where you're compiling data.
You see the digital numbers all floating around his head.
That's actually kind of how I deal with my anxiety more often than not. I manage undiagnosed anxiety out there in the field, especially with what my job is, which I won't go into detail about. But the best way I can put it is I can't stop the torch from going off. I can turn it into a finer point and put it to work, though.
Damn right.
It's good to have a mechanism to work on stuff. I agree. I second that.
Have you ever wanted to try LARPing, or have you ever LARPed?
Oof. I did LARP at one point. I was a sellsword for hire who was more or less the line breaker. I say line breaker. I charged out there through the fields with the pine trees, barefoot, literally just circumventing spears and swords, racing to the back and just cutting through the officer's line, just foam flying everywhere, blackened souls, kicking up dirt. I remember at one point I pierced through 2 lines. I get to the guy, he's looking at me, he's just like, "How did you get here? What is going on?" I'm like, "Hello."
I can imagine LARPing with you being a little intense sometimes.
Just like see him in the woods putting the face paint on.
Yeah. For some weird reason, though, I can't just stand face paint, so there's gonna be no. Oh, what is the name of that movie with them? Heart of Darkness. There's gonna be no Heart of Darkness moment. Sorry.
Next up, we have 4 questions left. It's going by so fast.
Did we do? It's my turn, I believe, right? Yeah. What was your favorite childhood toy?
My favorite childhood toy was actually a whole bunch of toys. At that time, the main Power Ranger thing was Lightspeed Rescue, which was rescue themed. So at that time, I was currently having my tonsils removed. So one of their main gimmicks was they had the first Megazord. They had the larger Megazord. The first Megazord was 5 vehicles, a water truck, a crane, a off-road vehicle, an ambulance, and a jet. And all 5 of those came out of a corresponding train, a giant train that carried the giant vehicles. I would have squealed joy if it weren't for the fact that my upper airway was literally carved up like a Christmas turkey when I saw that not only did I get a giant train, but I got a giant train that held the Megazord parts, even in the Megazord. So
that is insane. That would have been a brilliant gift for sure. That would be a great thing to get.
Dream. That's rad.
I unironically, way back in the day, actually enjoyed the Power Rangers movie.
I watched the original. You know what? Power Rangers, they're awesome. And it's fun because, like, they've been on so long and there's been so many iterations of it that, like, each person with, it's like every 3 years difference. It's like there's a whole new one, and we all have our own fond memories. Jackal's being the rescue crew with the Zord and the suppressed squeal of joy from raked tonsils. I just see like little Jackal all like, and then super happy. Right? Kermit flailing. But can't, but without the yay. Yeah, just like that. Are you scared of the dark?
I can be. It's dark.
Like if you're in a safe.
Yeah, but if I'm in a safe area and I hear something that sounds like something giant just slowly shifted. Oh God, did that come up on camera? The neck crack and everything?
No, we didn't hear the neck crack, but that one.
We just heard the. Unfortunately, no.
Jackal,
That's a good effect.
Who is your biggest celebrity crush? Do you have one?
Emily Blunt, Edge of Tomorrow, my celebrity crush.
Edge of Tomorrow was awesome.
Ah, yeah. Emily Blunt's pretty cool, too. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. She's in a lot of stuff. Actually, I just Googled her because I was like making sure that I had the face on there. I didn't realize she was British. I don't know why. She has a British accent in a lot of things that she does, but I just assumed she was not. Okay, we are at the final, most important question of the evening. Jackal, did you have fun on the show?
I had a lot of fun. Hands down, no contest. I had a lot of fun this evening.
I'm so glad you were finally able to get to come on.
Yeah, it's been a while.
This guy's a hard worker, so it's hard to pin him down on a Tuesday.
Yep. So, Jackal, tell us where we can find you and anything else you want to plug.
No.
Plug, not pug. Plug.
You can find me here every Friday as Amos Nascendi, the father, the straight man in a crew of crazy people when he's not besieged by when they're not besieged by ball bearings, and maybe every Tuesday at 7:30, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh my.
He lives. It's always a toss-up on whether or not you're going to come back the next week, because we never know if you've survived. So
It's true. It's kind of hard to pin that one down sometimes.
All right. Yes. So absolutely catch Jackal over here on Roll for Chaos as often as we can get him in and bug him on things to in his busy schedule to show him on camera. And thank you everybody for joining us. And when we come back, we're going to go to break. We have a treat. We have Hey Doyle and Mick Sherry have put together our news segment for this episode, which will be during our break. So hang out, and then when we come back, we'll have Nick from Scry Society, and we'll just do this fun shenanigans all over again. We'll see you in a bit.
Oh, thanks, Shannon and Steven. Happy to be here. Shannon and Steven, that's really long. I'm going to have to figure a way to tighten that up a little bit. I can worry about that later. So, one of the great things that came out of what I think we can all agree was a garbage fire of 2020 was the fact that hey,
hi,
Doyle. Can I help you?
Well, what's going on here?
I'm recording a new segment for Roll Charisma.
Roll what? Roll Charisma?
Roll Charisma. We're a talk show on a Twitch stream called Roll for Chaos.
Oh, I remember it. Okay.
Yeah, we focus on tabletop role-playing games and honestly building a community. It's especially important this time of, well, the century.
Yeah, absolutely. Is this part of my mission? Like, I'm lost from my tour group.
I think I can tell that you're lost, Doyle.
Okay.
Why don't you just pull up a seat?
Okay.
So, as I was saying, one of the great things that came out of the garbage fire of 2020 is that there's recognition that more attention needs to be paid to cultures outside of the white Eurocentric focus of the past centuries.
Right.
Tabletop role-playing games provide an important source of representation and education for those of us who don't know, honestly.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Kickstarter is actually a great place that gives creators of color a place to not only gain funding, but also visibility to get their systems backed and get their message out there. Right now, there are actually 255 tabletop role-playing game adjacent projects available for backing.
255?
Yeah.
Jeez.
There's a lot out there. You just kind of have to look for it.
I've only got like 5 games in my house. I've got Monopoly, I've got Game of Life, Mousetrap. Is Mousetrap one of those?
I
don't
know that you'd actually want to RPG Mousetrap. You'd almost have to roleplay as the mouse, and
that might not be so good.
That sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah,
definitely. But here's an example. Yeah, sure. There was a great one that was offered through Kickstarter a little earlier this year called Coyote and Crow. It's a science fiction fantasy tabletop role-playing game set in the near future where the Americas were never colonized. And it was created by people who were members of the First Nation tribes or natives. It's actually great because while it was created by a native-led team, it was made for everyone. For the natives, they've crafted story and game mechanics that allow them to integrate their own tribal customs. And for non-natives, there's a wealth of options to choose from, as well as clear guidelines for understanding the differences between the real world and the game world.
Oh, sure.
It also gives you the option, if you do have the great fortune to be playing with a native, to learn more about their cultural history.
Oh, that's important. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Okay.
Another one that I found that was very interesting was called the Wagadu Chronicles. It's an Afro-fantasy world to explore both as an isometric MMO, so massive multiplayer online game, and as a 5e compatible tabletop setting. So you can play it both online and with your friends.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the great thing about that is that the lore that comes with the tabletop can be used in your role-playing online. There's no player versus player. It's all player versus environment, which allows more role-playing options and also greater cooperation.
Yeah, interesting. Sometimes when I'm playing like the player versus player sort of games, like it makes my anxiety kind of spike because I don't like fighting my friends, but having like a cooperative setting where I'm working with the environment against the environment is fantastic.
It's so smart. Much better. And the focus that they took with this when they were creating the world was, what would it be like if Tolkien was black? So everybody knows that Tolkien put a remarkable amount of research into his world, and so much lore. So they did the same thing, only with an Afrocentric twist. So that's a great one.
Absolutely.
And the final game that I really want to touch on for all of you great Roll Charisma fans out there is called Into the Motherlands. It's actually currently available to be backed, so you can jump in on that now if you're interested and have the money available. It's another Afrofuturist TTRPG, but this is based on a real event. 1,000 years ago, an African emperor called Mansa Musa sent an expedition into the New World, so the Americas, but they never arrived. This game posits, what if they ended up on another world? How would the culture that they brought from Africa integrate into the culture that they built somewhere else? So there's just so much good stuff out there, and I think it's very important for everybody to get involved, whether your role-playing game is Mousetrap or Ether and Steamworks. Check it out on Drive-Thru RPG.
What, that's Aether and what?
Ether and
I
Steamworks.
haven't heard of that one either.
It was actually created by our channel founder.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so stick around, friend. We can teach you some things.
Okay.
Anyway, thanks a bunch out there for listening to us, and back to you, Shavin.
You know what the snack bar is? It?
Oh, it's right over there.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay, see, thanks.
Hi, and welcome back, everybody. Doyle and Gwen, that was fantastic. Thank you for your news segment. I am looking forward to more of them. And without further ado, everybody, welcome Nick from Scry Society here on the show. Hi, Nick.
Hello. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Welcome
Thank
indeed
you.
for being here. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate being invited. This is an awesome show, so I'm really excited.
Glad
Thank you.
enjoyed
We
it.
have a lot of fun, and it goes way too fast. But so on that note, we can get started. So we'll have the same format as with Jackal. You said you had your own dice, so if you want to go ahead and give that a roll, we'll get going.
Okay, all right.
Thank you for the
And thank you
gifted
for the
subs.
subs.
Oh, look at that. How did that happen? All right, that's a 17.
17. Are you going for it? It's her turn. It's her turn, not mine.
If you could have any real life animal for a pet, what would it be?
Any real life animal. Oh, okay, so is it domesticated or is it going to eat me?
Yeah, it will be your friend, so it can eat people,
Okay.
but it won't eat you or those you love.
Ooh, I want to say a timber wolf would be pretty cool to have as a companion. If I ever play like a ranger, I always gravitate immediately towards having a wolf companion. So
A wolf's like a dog, but cooler. So, that's already
yeah.
positive on your side there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead and re-roll or roll again, rather. And we'll move
Okay.
along. Now I want a timber wolf.
A 4, not
Four.
so high.
So say you are independently wealthy and don't have to work. What would you do with your time?
Oh, this is an easy one. I'd play D&D and write TTRPGs, content and adventures. I'd also spend more time with my family, and probably hiking would be something I'd like to do a lot of. But yeah, I think family, D&D, and hiking is what I would do if I had no concerns.
So adventures in the real world and in the fantasy lands of your creation, and you have to take part in all at once. I identify with that a great deal. I am also someone who really enjoys the GM aspect and living in fantasy worlds, and would rather be there with all my time if I could.
Heck yeah. I just enjoy the stories y'all write. I don't have the patience for those things, but I appreciate people who do, so I can just play.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say my wife and I actually, one of the things we very often end up talking about on hikes are our ideas for D&D characters or campaigns or something like that, because I feel like just walking in the woods and it's a great sort of creative inspiration.
We often do the same thing, to be honest.
Totally. Yeah.
So do you prefer to play the game, or do you prefer to run the game?
I would say I prefer running it, but I definitely enjoy when I can take a break from DMing and play. And that's kind of what I'm doing now. Other than my once a month charity streams, I am now in 3 games as a player, and I'm taking a break from being a regular, consistent DM in a campaign.
So you run a charity stream once a month, you said?
Yes. So I started Scry Society back in March with the goal, just being realistic with my time, of doing one charity one shot once a month with 3 guests from the community, and each month I'm picking a different charity. So the first month was Stop AAPI Hate. The second month was Jasper's Game Day, and this now our 3rd month is going to be for the Trevor Project, and we've raised. It was just over $800 so far for the first 2 combined. and hoping to break 1,000 with this this month.
That is exceptional.
Everybody help them do that. Those are all amazing charities.
He said it's
So-
on the 26th. Keep an eye on Scry Society and take part in that if
That's
you
a-
possibly can.
And it's the day after my birthday, so everyone, instead of birthday presents, which I'm sure everyone was going to give me hundreds of dollars worth of birthday presents, just go ahead and get them on over to Nick there.
Yeah, and I will say, quick plug, if you do go to my Twitter page on my pinned post, there is a link to a Google Doc where you can express your interest in being a player on one of the streams. And so I'm always looking for more folks who are interested, 3 folks a month. I'm going to do this for as long as I can, so I'll just keep making my way through that list.
Awesome.
All right, and Mick Sherry has dropped your link down there for you, so everybody go there if you're interested. That sounds super fun. And roll.
Thank you, McSherry.
She's the best. And roll another die, and we'll move along.
All right. That's a 5.
5.
That's you.
That's your.
Alright.
I just asked the question, didn't I?
I
Maybe
don't know. It
didn't.
doesn't really matter. What fictional family would you be a member of, and why?
What fictional family would I be a member of?
Yeah.
Ooh. Would I? Could I?
Should you?
Yeah, should I? Oh man. Any fiction, so this doesn't have to be media. My brain goes straight to media. I mean, I think I definitely could have seen myself on Malcolm in the Middle. Not as Malcolm, because I was the oldest. So I could definitely have seen myself in that role. Minus the military.
It's an interesting choice.
I love that. I definitely could see yourself there. Malcolm in the Middle wasn't exactly the most idealistic family.
No, but my family is very interesting. And my sister and I, who is the middle, who would be Malcolm, and I had a very combative childhood. So I feel like it would fit right in.
You'd be familiar with the dynamic.
Just comfortable in that space. Got it.
Yeah.
All right, what's our
love
next roll?
Yeah, go ahead and roll us another
Oh, man.
one.
Here we go.
Interrupted him taking a drink, though, Ty.
Just,
Rude.
I'm,
No,
I
it's
have a really
okay.
bad
It's
timing.
okay.
That's just how I am.
It's like when the server comes to ask you how your food is, and you're like, you're just shoveling it in.
Yep, always.
Yeah.
100%.
Every damn time.
They're taught to do that, I swear.
Yeah. I got a 10.
10. If you could hang out with any cartoon or video game character, who would you choose and why?
Ooh. Oh man. Ooh, this is tough. My brain. It's funny, when I was watching Jackal, I could immediately think of what my answer to each of the questions would have been, but when it's me on the spot, okay. Any cartoon character or video game character. How about, I'm doing that thing that politicians do when they don't know an answer. That's a great question. You know,
stall for time.
I'm going to talk about why that's such a great question. Okay, how about I would hang out with Sora from Kingdom Hearts, because I spent a lot of time with Sora as a child. And I mean, if I'm friends with Sora, I'm immediately friends with the entire Disney pantheon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, plus the Final Fantasy guys. I've got my in. So yeah, I'm gonna say Sora.
It's like, I'd like to introduce you to my friend Nick. This year's Cloud, and this year's Donald.
Yeah,
Mickey
yeah.
Here. Yeah.
Yeah, here's Jack Sparrow, who's weirdly animated and kind of real, but not.
Very disconcerting in that game, Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little uncanny
okay.
valley.
Yeah, and it was very bizarre. But I was happy he was there, you know.
Yeah.
And you can meet the Cheshire Cat in Alice in Wonderland. Oh, and then you can go hang out with all the people in like Halloween Town or Halloween Land, or
it's just,
you know, like there's everything.
Everything.
There's a lot there, so that makes a lot of sense.
I think it's brilliant. You've just inspired me. I think like if anybody ever asked me that question again, I mean, it's just all encompassing.
Yeah.
So I had one of those moments where the cord that comes from your headset goes under the wheel of your chair and gets stuck, and you're like, I'm gonna cut this off
Love that.
accidentally, and then nobody will hear me, or I won't be able to hear them anymore. Oh no.
Yeah, we could still hear you. You just wouldn't be able to hear
the
us.
other
We
way
could just
around.
talk crap and you wouldn't know
it. All right, what is
All right, let's roll one more icebreaker, and then we're gonna go into lightning round.
Oh, that is a natural 20, which on this dice says team, because my good friend Shannon purchased me and a few others that like to call ourselves the Dream Team 2 D20s, and one of them says dream and one says team. So there's no way in hell you'll ever see this, but this does say, it says team.
That's awesome.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's a nat 20.
So the nat 20 does in the style of Aether and Steamworks Ty's game, and here on Roll for Chaos, you have a choice. So your choice is you can either have the hosts, or you can either ask the host any question that you would like, or you can have us roll and we can roll a random question, or you can tell us your favorite story involving yourself.
I think I like the idea of turning the table on you all and having you roll on the table, because I can't think of a brilliant question at the moment, but and I don't have a story interesting enough off the top of my head. So
that is fair. That's kind of why I asked the question. So go ahead, Ty. Why don't you roll a die, because I don't have one handy,
all
and
right.
then we'll answer the same question.
I got a 5. So the question is, what fictional family member would you be a member of and why? So you go first.
Oh, that's the same question. Me? Fictional family that I would be a part of. Again, like my kind of voice, my brain goes to media. And I also have to say that in these particular situations, I also have a hard time answering these fantastic questions. So and
she takes the politician stance as well.
We did a whole show where Steven, the other host, the normal host, and I did the questions on each other. And we were like, why do we do this to people? This is so hard. It seems so easy, but it's so hard. Fictional family that I would be a part of. Ty, I think you should actually go first. I'm gonna cop out.
Do I get to roll for something else, or because that was your question? I mean, are you just gonna think about that, and then I'll. Fine.
You rolled it. Yes.
If we're defining family by the family you choose,
all conventions.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to have to say I want to be in the same family Drizzt Do'Urden lives in with Canterbury and Wolfgar and Bruner Battlehammer, because
I knew you were gonna say that.
They're ideological individuals that are trying for yes. Drizzt. I have read every single one of those books, and he was more. R.A. Salvatore was more of a father figure to me than anybody else in my life was, which is sad, but also kind of interesting. So
that's an awesome answer. I want to show you a tattoo that I have, but it's gonna require me to lift my leg up. So I just want to keep the stream PG. But you are going to see some.
As long as it does not violate terms of service,
you'll see some calf, here.
Ooh la la.
So
Candle.
let me bring it up. I'm looking at the stream, so you can't quite make it out. But that is Aegis Fang.
Yes, that's awesome.
Wolfgar's Warhammer. And yeah, so Ty, that's so awesome. And now we have to talk after stream all about our shared love of Bob Salvatore.
I've got Twinkle and Icing Death somewhere around here. We just moved, so you know.
He does.
That is
I saw them,
amazing.
Actually.
I desperately want them, and if my wife is watching right now, Father's Day is coming up, and then my birthday is not long after that. So maybe one sword for each.
There you go. I purchased them for Ty, I think, for a birthday. It was either a birthday or Christmas.
It was Christmas. It was for Christmas, and it was like
usually
10 years ago.
Stuff. Yeah. Because I ran out of books to buy because he stopped coming out with them.
Yeah. Well, I could definitely
sit there and.
Yeah, I could definitely use the sword back there on my shelf. So.
Yeah, no, I can see it. Like it's in my brain. So it's not as cool as you guys, but like I kind of was thinking. I think like the Incredibles. I think I would be part of that family. One, because you get a random superpower, or many. And also because like they're tight, like they love each other. They're a little dysfunctional, but they figure it out. I think it's generic. It's not Dritz. It's not the whole, going into the Underdark, all that stuff. But I think, they're pretty cool, and I would want to be in that family. And I want Jack's powers because he has all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. All right. So now we are gonna hit the lightning round, and Ty, you can start first. And you'll start with 1.
Okay.
Starting with 1.
So do I roll, or these are just?
These are quick. Now
you are just
okay.
You just sit there and let your brain go.
And we are all about the chaos here, so if you feel like tangenting or describing more in detail what your answer is about, please do so, and we'll go from there. So the first one is, do you cover your eyes during a scary part in a movie?
No. Probably not. No, I don't think so. My wife definitely would, but I'm usually watching so she can know when to uncover her eyes.
It's sort of like that with me and Shannon, except that it's only if there's an animal that might be about to be hurt. Not about the scary parts of movies, but if it's an animal thing, she's like, tell me when to look.
It's for his own good. I get involuntarily violent.
It's true. It's true.
It's not my fault. Invisibility or super strength?
Super strength.
Yeah. It's a good one. Favorite Disney princess?
I think probably Moana. I love Moana. I love those songs. I love just that she's not like a Disney princess. She doesn't have any superpowers. She's just super badass, independent, fearless. Yeah.
And willing to take those chances that others might not be.
Yeah. And plus the end of that movie always makes me cry, so.
Dude, there's 3 or 4 parts in that movie that always make me cry, and it's not always because I'm sad. It's like when the grandma comes and the stingray, and we've talked about this on the show actually quite a few times, but yeah, that movie gets me every time. And the Polynesian music is so pretty.
It was such a good idea for a movie, and the fact that the enemy wasn't really, the big boss, whatever the evil darkness antagonist wasn't traditionally an antagonist.
Yeah. I also, and I am going to go on a tangent here, I think Moana is great because I feel like Moana is a very, you could totally play that as a D&D campaign. Like that, or just a TTRPG adventure. It has all of the, the starting little town, the NPC that you pick up along the way, the various, I feel like that, and that kind of twist ending of a boss fight would be really cool to get there and realize, oh, they're not the bad guy. There's this thing I have to do. I could totally see someone, kind of ripping that off. And
I never looked at it that way, but that's totally true. I mean, it would even lend itself to just the standard video game kind of thing, But yeah, a campaign with that would be amazing. Okay, one of y'all, whoever's out there, we need a Moana-esque campaign that I can play in now. I'm jonesing. Okay?
I mean, you even have the fan favorite, the chicken NPC. That everybody's this is, I just described the dumbest NPC possible, and all the players are like, we're bringing it.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, carrot, right?
The carrot, yeah.
Dawn or dusk?
Oh, God, dusk. The thought of being awake at dawn.
Right?
Yeah, the only way I like dawn is if it's one of those nights where it's you've stayed out all night doing something really fun, and then dawn comes. But yeah, getting up early for dawn, I'm
I don't mind staying up so late that the sun rises. That's kind of cool. But the other way around, nobody wants to wake up that early. And if you do say that you do, you're lying. You're lying to yourself. And
yeah.
You have a problem.
So what children's movie could you watch over and over again?
Okay, well, I'm not going to say Moana because I just said that. What is another children's movie I could watch over and over? I know it's lightning round. I'm trying to be creative and not think of a Disney or Pixar film, but it's hard to not just go straight to those.
Well, they were well written, so a lot of people have that on the forefront of their minds.
Yeah, they really were. I could probably watch, you know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that Shrek. It's technically a children's movie, but also for adults, and I could watch Shrek forever.
It's got a good message too, and a lot of adventure. It's a good choice.
Yeah.
I liked when I was, it came out a long time ago, and as a little girl, I loved it. It's kind of cliche now, but the idea that like when she becomes her true love's form and everything, she's the ogre and not the pretty princess. I was like, oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And then they tried to retcon that later, but whatever.
Yeah.
No, there was stuff going on. Favorite junk food?
Oh, flaming hot munchies.
Good
Specifically,
Hot
not
munchies.
munchies and not flaming hot Cheetos, but the flaming hot variety of munchies. That's my go-to D&D if I'm going to grab like a bag of chips on the way out.
I haven't tried those, so that's on my list now. Thank you.
Yeah, they're
Well,
good.
there we go. Next time we go to the grocery store. What was your favorite childhood TV show?
Ooh, probably Pokemon. That was like middle school, but that's the only show I remember. Like, I was that nerd that I had a digital watch, and it was set to go off at 3:45. So wherever I was in the neighborhood, I could start sprinting home to make sure that I got there in time to watch it.
I recorded those
Is he
on
like the-
VHS tape and then edited out all the commercials
Yeah.
and stuff so that I could have episodes back to back and rewatch them.
That's dedication.
I was a weird child.
You could just see like the neighbors like, what time is it, Ebner?
Yeah.
And then like looks out the window. Well, it's about 3:45. The neighbor boy's running home for the Pokemon.
Yeah. I just remember that being like one of the first times I could remember like this crossover of media of like I had this show about these cards that I also loved. I mean, I know we had toys growing up, but like there was something, I don't know, about having that that was really cool.
Collectible card games, they're addictive, and I believe the Pokemon card game didn't get nearly enough fanfare next to things like Magic way back in the day. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but
we will be having a Pokemon one-shot on occasion here in the future that we're probably looking for players for if you're interested. So
run by the beautiful, magnificent, fantastic Big B.
That
Yeah,
is
he'll be right
definitely
back.
something I might have to reach out about. I can't reveal because I don't know if the details have been announced, but I may also be as part of a Pokemon stream at some point in the next like month or two.
That's awesome.
But I'll have to keep you all posted.
Absolutely do so.
Yes.
We will share any information you put out there too. Is it my turn? I can't remember. No,
I
it's
think
your
it's
turn.
fun. What's your favorite season?
It's winter. Yeah. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I hate the cold, but winter has Christmas. And that's when we have like the most fires and we got a fireplace, and I love sitting out on the front porch in the morning when it's kind of cold and I've got like a cup of hot coffee while my dog goes out, as opposed to now when I go outside to let the dog out and I'm just sweating and dripping.
Right.
Yeah.
humidity.
You can
So
find a way
I think
to-
winter.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying. I think winter is just that's where it is for me.
Absolutely. You can definitely pile on more clothes or find some way to combat
Yeah.
the cold. Heat is a lot harder to combat.
Yep.
That's true.
Yeah, it's really true.
What was the last Halloween costume you wore?
Oh, I should know this. Oh, well, the last one, I was thinking of all these cool like cosplay costumes I've done over the years, but my wife and I had our first child last year. And so
Congratulations.
thank you. Well, she was a cute little flower, and my wife was a gardener, and I was a giant man bee. So I just had like a big bee costume with the hat and the antenna and a stinger. So not my proudest moment as a human, but it worked for the costume. So
I mean, that's beautiful. And really, what's better than bees? We need them.
yeah,
You
right?
know?
That's an
And plus,
adorable
I mean,
costume.
I can't. I just adore family matching costumes. And my family won't do it. My sons and I think Ty would probably do it if I let it. But my kids, they want to be all like independent and do their own costumes. And I refuse to be the mom that makes them do like the family
Mhm.
costumes. But
Yeah.
I love it. I love that. That's so cute. Cake or pie?
Cake.
Cake. Favorite breakfast cereal?
Ooh. I want to say the original Captain Crunch. I feel like the formula changed at some point in the last decade because I picked up, most of the time we just had the boring like frosted shredded wheat or something in our pantry, but
Yeah.
I picked up some Captain Crunch and it didn't quite hit the same, and so I'm not sure if it changed or not. But that was growing up. That was my treat. That was my
Yeah, the candy cereal.
It did.
Yeah.
They went to a corn syrup glaze, a corn syrup based simple syrup glaze that they use on the outside of it versus the original sugar.
Why do you know that?
See,
Because I know weird stuff.
Okay.
I will tell you this: when I went to college, date myself here. 2006 was my freshman year, and one of the things I was most excited about college was when I found out that the dorm I was in had a food hall food court on the first floor, that had 24/7 access to a cereal bar. And it was one of those where you just pulled the lever and just cereal came out. And so I probably ate, and they had Captain Crunch, they had Trix, they had like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It was wild. I did not go. I went to a state school. This was not like a fancy private school. I don't know what kind of contract they had, but
Somebody
I was
in
going
student
down
government. They did it.
He was like, I know a guy.
We got to set up that cereal bar. It's going to use all of our funds.
Yeah.
But we have to have it.
We get cut sports, cut theater, cut art. We're getting a cereal bar.
Cereal bar. That's the important one right there.
I then got to, of course, tens of thousands of dollars in student debt. So I guess I paid the price ultimately, but I ate my weight in cereal.
It was a trade-off.
We got ours without cereal.
Yep,
so.
exactly.
Do you prefer to play tank, DPS, or heals? Generally video game situation, but also applicable to TTRPGs.
Yeah, healing. I love playing clerics. They're my favorite D&D class, and if I play a game like Overwatch, I'm almost always going to be like Mercy or Moira. I feel like damage, DPS, and tanking, it comes with so much pressure. I obviously with healing, you want to keep everyone alive, but with like DPS, I always felt like someone's looking at my numbers. They're like, why isn't Nick doing more damage? And I get really nervous. But with healing, for some reason, I feel like I can really control my situation. So
why isn't your KDA higher? Whereas when you're a
healer,
exactly. When you're a healer, everybody's just thankful that you're willing to do that job. And to be fair,
and then
to be fair, clerics can do all three in D&D if you build
can.
them the right way.
That's why clerics are my favorite, because I do not think there's a more versatile class than the cleric.
They're
that's
OP.
just my opinion.
You wear that heavy armor, you do some damaging magic, you keep people alive, all kinds of cool stuff.
Oh yeah.
So
you're a hit there, honey.
Do you
13.
believe in fate?
No. I don't. I'm pretty much a believer in the things happen, and some good things happen and some bad things happen. But I don't begrudge anyone who does believe in fate or luck or any of those things.
We believe in chaos around here as well, so that's
yeah. Here among friends. What song on the radio do you sing along with every time it comes on? Or your Spotify or playlist? I've been informed people don't listen to radios anymore.
Now we're dating
what is
ourselves.
This? What is this radio you speak of?
Radio.
It's definitely "Zombie" by the Cranberries, and from karaoke nights to my wife and I, when I got these little fancy cue lights you guys might not be able to see back here. I found out you can sync them up to music.
Ooh.
And the very first song that I did the night that we got them, because I've got the light bulbs all over the house, is I was blasting "Zombie" by the Cranberries, and the house was just like flashing along with it. And my wife was like, oh my God, the entire neighborhood can probably hear this and see our house like glowing
That
along.
is
I
awesome.
want you for my neighbor, though. That would be the best day ever. I'm like brushing my teeth, look out the window, and a zombie. It's like blinking.
Yeah.
That would be great. Love that.
Next up, have you ever worn socks and sandals at the same time?
With, not in.
I mean, yeah, I went to college, so I mean, who didn't go down the hall? Yeah, I'm a dad now. So who didn't go down the hallway in their socks and flip flops to, grab some free cereal?
Would bring out the trash.
I mean,
as a
that's
dad,
true. I'd wear socks with sandals to get to that cereal bar. In fact, I think I'm gonna have a bowl of cereal after we're done with this because now I'm craving one.
I will say one habit my wife and I picked up during the pandemic is we have a bowl of cereal almost every single night. It's like well after dinner. It's usually around like 9 or 10 o'clock when we're watching TV. One of us will inevitably like get up and creep towards the pantry. And it's like, can you get me one too, please?
Cereal is a dessert. Yes. Cereal is literally a dessert. So.
It is best served at night. When
he used to give me shit about it for like a decade, and now
that
he
was
says
only until I thought about it for like 5 minutes and went, you know what?
Yeah,
breakfast doesn't have to be sweet.
That's why. That's what partners are for. 10 years ago, right. I hated musicals, and my wife now has me like hooked on a bunch of them. So like we've gone to see Broadway and stuff. So yeah, I feel like that's one of the blessings
we grow
of
together.
Having a partner is you open each other up to new ideas, and cereal at night and musicals in the day.
Right? It's a beautiful life, man.
Just a few questions left.
All right.
If Voldemort offered you a hug, would you accept it?
Yeah, only to stab him in the back.
Oh,
defeat him once and
taking
for all.
Out. Nice.
Man, would you trust
this is
them?
ending now?
You'd have to ask.
We'd have that moment.
An awkward
look into
moment.
the eyes. He's, he looks and you're like,
yeah,
and he's like, no, and then
I trusted you. I was supposed to get better because of you. Oh no.
Well, now you gotta make me sad.
Of course, that's what I do. I'm a GM. I make things horrible for everybody.
The decisions make it turn out terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Is double dipping at a party ever acceptable?
Pre-COVID, absolutely. Now, everybody better bring their own bag of dips. Their own bag of chips.
Bag of dips.
Their bag of dips and
or
chips.
A bag of dips.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
You bring BYOD.
Yeah, actually, no, it actually makes more sense. Everyone comes with a cup of salsa, and then you can take a chip, and you can dip, and then you can dip as much as you want. And so now I'm picturing a party, yeah.
Well, you need to go get a dip dispenser, like the cereal dispenser for your house, for the party, and then you just...
Yeah, like a soft serve ice cream machine, only with like various dips and
like guac and ranch and salsa.
little spinach artichoke.
Oh yeah.
Yes, actually, you know what? That's kind of brilliant idea.
You have to make it
to do that.
Slightly warmed, like the little heaters on the inside, so that it melts and comes out appropriately.
Well, if it churns.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
have
the
it
big.
churn.
Some executive at an Applebee's is watching the stream right now, and he's like, "Oh, we're finally gonna get out. We're finally gonna get out of bankruptcy. We've got it. We just need a dip vending machine."
Right? Can we get a kickback at least? Come on, Applebee.
Yeah. TM.
Yeah. We came up with that. How long do you think you would survive in a zombie apocalypse?
I'm gonna assume I'm on my own.
Yeah, it's rougher with a family.
Yeah. Because I probably wouldn't last long. I feel like I'd probably sacrifice myself to try and help them get away. But on my own, I think I'd make it to like halfway to 3/4 of the movie.
Sure.
If we're talking. Yeah, I definitely don't have a ton of survival experience, but I've done backpacking and we've got enough gear here at the house. I could probably get by for a few weeks, but I recently started playing a zombie game called State of Decay.
Ooh.
So that's helping to improve my zombie survival skills. So maybe if I keep that up, I'll be able to last longer.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
What do your favorite pajamas look like?
Or loungewear.
Right now they look a lot like this: joggers and a t-shirt. But growing up, I did have a reputation amongst my friends as having an absurd amount of pajamas because my parents would buy me one pair every year for Christmas. And after I was, obviously some of them I would grow out of, but by the time I was like 12 or 13, they just started piling up. And I had like a whole drawer underneath my bed that I could pull out. And they were all the different obnoxiously like animated characters, and I had a Mountain Dew pair and a Homer Simpson pair. So that's probably what they used to look like. But now it's pretty boring. It's mostly just plain joggers. But now it's making me think back that I need to kind of go back to the more animated pajamas.
Get comfortable.
Your
whatever
pajama
it is
drawer
you're
back.
Yeah. I'll start an Instagram.
There you
pajama
go.
wear.
Yes, I will subscribe.
Get some filters and show off that stuff.
Yeah. You can find this at your local Kohl's for just $13.99.
Not sponsored by Kohl's, but we should be. So would you rather cuddle in those crazy pajamas a baby panda or a baby penguin?
Ooh, baby panda.
Right.
Baby panda. I mean, I love a good penguin. Or maybe go swimming with a penguin, but for cuddles, got to be the panda.
So you want to spend your day swimming around with the penguins, and then when you're all swimmed out, come back and cuddle with the panda. That's a happy day.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like a good day.
Super valid. I love it.
We have arrived at the most important question of the show. Did you have fun on the show tonight?
I had a blast. This was very fun. It was cool getting to run through all these questions that I had no idea what they were going to be. They weren't sent to me in advance. None of this was scripted.
We're not cool like that. We just
we don't.
On the spot.
Yeah, I know, but this is great.
Well,
this is the part where you get to tell everybody out there where they can find you on the regular and what you're up to.
Awesome. You can find me. I think the links are in chat. Thank you to McSherry. On Twitter at Scry Society, and on Twitch also at Scry Society. I will be actually running our next charity stream on June 26th of this month. It's a Saturday. It's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern. I should be announcing the cast of this stream hopefully this week. We are going to be raising money for the Trevor Project, and I haven't announced the adventure we're running yet, but it is an adventure. It's a Pride adventure, so I'm really just trying to celebrate Pride this month and help raise money for a great cause. Last thing, you may see me sometimes on the Shard Tabletop Twitter account. I'm the community manager there, so if you ever see people or see someone posting on that, that's probably me. So if you ever want to learn about a new virtual tabletop, feel free to message me about it.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for being here on the show with us tonight. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
It's been awesome to get to know you. I hadn't met you before this. You had met Ty before, but so you guys, I'm probably going to end up losing my husband for a little while you guys sit and talk about Dritz and R.A. Salvatore.
Yes, definitely.
I see this in the future.
For sure. Well, thank you both so much.
Thank you, and everybody for joining us. Thank you so much for hanging out and talking and being so engaged in chat and just having a general good time. We appreciate you so much. And catch us next week. We'll have a couple new guests and probably the same old questions with different answers. Thank you so much again, and have a good night.
Bye.